Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen Campbell-Mindes, and welcome to Gwen's Bookish Ramblings. Today's book, well, you can see it on the screen because I'm really not that clever about introductions. Garner Gizmos and Gadgets is not a book that you read, it's one of those books that you look at. There are some of those that I'll be doing. I already did one of those once with Magic of Rhymes. In this case, this is a collection of objects that are almost a good idea, a collection of ideas that are more things that you think of at 3 in the morning when you haven't had any sleep and you're feeling kind of punchy. And a couple of things in here are things that, since the 1980s have passed and technology has advanced, we actually have them for some reason, which may or may not be a good reason. So the cover pretty much shows everything that's in this book. Uh, the styling helmet for power hair, soup and handle, spoon, bacon, watch band, back dry chair where you plug it in and you have a towel that will dry your back for you because apparently you can't dry your own back. One of the things that we actually have now, basically, personal satellite TV. Now, this looked ridiculous in the 1980s, having the little headphones, not quite crazy, but having a satellite sticking off of the top of your head and the little tiny TV screen in front of you. Sounds ridiculous, but a lot of us can now access TV on our cell phones with little headphones on and stuff. And I have to tell you, I think that television on a 1.5 inch to 2 inch screen is just as ridiculous as it was in the 1980s. But then again, I'm an old person who can actually remember the 1980s. The electronic audio zipper, however, is one of those things that I would say is almost a good idea because there are a lot of us who would love to know if, say, your fly was open before everybody had seen it. On the other hand, having a little bit of alarm, a little alarm going off on your crotch might possibly be a little bit attention getting in a way that you wouldn't personally want. Um, the whole book is like this. When you look at these drawing styles, you can see the electric blanket thought remover. I would call that YouTube, uh, or possibly pictures of cats. I think I Can Has Cheeseburger probably covers this as well. But you look at this and you look at this drawing style, and it's a serious pencil drawing, maybe some charcoal sketching, uh, design and way of illustrating things. We also have an extra brain. We call it Google. Um, we don't attach things directly to our skull, but given the rate at which VR is progressing, I suspect that that's only a matter of time. Um, Certainly, we already have people flailing wildly at absolutely nothing, thinking how awesome they look, when in reality they look like a person flailing with a video game controller. Um, so it's very interesting the contrast between the silliness of this idea, the extra brain that you can just sort of jack onto your skull, and this serious drawing style. Um, Here's an idea that falls under the auspices, once again, of almost a good idea. Wouldn't it be efficient to be able to just stuff yourself into a trunk and have somebody ship you? Look at this. It would be very, very comfortable. You've got a seat and a seat belt and a place for magazines and a light and an air vent, because obviously you'd want an air vent, and even a window for you to look out onto the side of whatever cargo area you're stuck in. The problem is, of course, that it's a terrible idea for somebody to travel sitting in a trunk. But it looks like such a good idea because it's drawn so seriously. And I love that contrast. I haven't included all the pictures in the book, obviously, because what would be the point of anyone looking up this book, assuming you can even find it, if I showed you all of it. So I'll just show you a few more. I just really want a duplex igloo. I love the idea of a two-story igloo. And here's melted lamp. Melted lamp, one of those ideas that you get at 2 in the morning when you're feeling really punchy. That's an idea that you get when you're drunk. It's an idea that you get when you're high. It's not a good idea. It's just a thought that crosses your mind. I'm pretty sure we have grammar instruction t-shirts. This is a different color because the scanner decided to malfunction. It's not actually a different color in the real book. Tanker beverage system. Well, we don't have exactly that, but I believe it was during the 1980s or 90s that somebody invented those hats that you put the beer cans on either side of your head so that you don't have to, like, actually, hold beer in your hands at sporting events. And then the never lose hat, which is just the idea that crosses your mind when you're wandering down the street and you get aggravated because your hat flew off your head and then you realize it's a dumb idea. But here it is, drawn out in lovely pencil sketching. Decent exposure trunks for legal exhibitionism. You could probably find a market for these. I didn't look, but I wouldn't be shocked if somebody was selling one of these or had started a Kickstarter fund or some Kickstarter-like thing to create exposure trunks or bikini top uh, things for legal exhibitionism. I'm sure there are a lot of people who would probably purchase them and other people who would use them as viewing things. Because, hey, technically, you wouldn't be exposing anything illegally, exactly. I don't know what those are on those trunks. Do you suppose that they're, like, little tiny boomerangs or something else? I'm sure all the Doctor Who fans out there are assuming that it's little tiny bananas. VibraPen. Here's something that we actually do have today. I'm pretty sure I saw people advertising that in the 90s. Here's a picture that I picked up off the internet. Squiggle-Wiggle Writer. It's a pen. It vibrates so that you can draw and vibrate it. Apparently, it's very good for children to work on their hand-eye coordination and really, really good for autistic children and other people to help them connect with physical sensations or what have you. I don't know a lot about autism. I just know what I saw on the internet. But apparently it's a real thing. So here you go, Garner. You should have patented it when you had the chance. Roadside service module. Food, lodging, gas. Now, really, do you need anything else than, a bed to sleep on, which is hidden in here in the lodging, and a vending machine and a gas thing? I don't really think you do. I mean, it's probably actually not much worse than a no-tell motel off the side of the road that you go to when you run out of gas. The level step boots are just, mildly entertaining. The unisex rubbing pole, on the other hand, I want one. I want one because I love having the idea of something to scratch my back when my back is itchy, and if you tell me that I am the only person who has ever rubbed their back against something like a bear rubs its back against a tree, then you are lying because I know I'm not the only person for no other reason than I saw my father doing that once. So, I kind of want one, and I like the idea of the little in-use light, as has the other person with whom I have discussed this book, who shall remain nameless. And as we come up on the last of the pictures that I have to show you here today, good missiles for cultural exchanges, races, international practical jokes, etc. Because what says good international relations more than a missile with a happy face and eyelashes on its eyes or little flowers? Also, Swapnik, a satellite-controlled worldwide flea market? We have that. We call it eBay. Or at least we only called it eBay. Now we call it several things because we have a variety of websites that you can do stuff on for that, like Craigslist, and I'm pretty sure Yahoo has a couple of exchange type groups and so on. Um, Stereo Victrola. Now, there's an idea that once again only comes to you in the dark of the night. For anyone out there who doesn't know what a Victrola is, it's basically a really, really super old-fashioned record player. Um, this was replaced by the modern or semi-modern 1930s, 40s edition record player that some of you may recognize from your parents or grandparents, more likely grandparents at this point. And if you don't know what a record player is, then I despair of you because we actually still have those. That's what DJs use for making those funky scratch sounds and mixing live. Um, so that is Garner's Gizmos and Gadgets in a nutshell. I haven't shown you all the pictures in it. There's many other pictures in there, many other ideas. There's the 100-yard dash, which is a 100-yard long dashboard. Ha ha ha. I think there's a few more puns because, of course, sight puns were inevitable. Um, I enjoyed the hell out of this, even though it's an older book, even though some of these things have been made weird and obsolete by the fact that technology has allowed us to invent them nonetheless. Um, but I enjoy this look into somebody's mind, a look into the weird ramblings that happen in people's minds, those rambling, scrambling half thoughts that you have that aren't real ideas, they're just half-baked concepts. And so this book takes those and shows them, makes them funny, and has these lovely, lovely drawings. Um, and as always, I will have all the information about the title and author and publisher, so if you want to try to find it, I wish you luck. I don't know that you'll have any. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you next week, assuming anybody's actually listening.